Okay, the first order of business is to get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 3rd
So moved. Second.
and a vote. 4-0. I was not there, so I'm abstaining. And Bob, do you want to make a motion?
Yes, I move that we move into a public hearing to discuss the increases in fees for building permits.
Second.
And a vote. 5-0.
Any comments, questions? No? Yep.
When were they last changed?
I don't remember. It's been quite a while.
Like 5 years, 10 years, a guess?
5+. Solar was added a few years ago. Other than that, I think it's been a while. Yep, Chris? Should be able to run it to him.
I'm just curious how you came up with the amount of the increase.
The increases, what we tried to do is get them based on so that the applicants for the particular permit were paying for the use. So say the someone applying for a site plan review would be actually paying for the cost of that. So the CEO wages would be covered. So the town would be reimbursed by those permit fees, not in excess of them. Is that again? I can go through them. On residential permits, if you're going to build a house, the lowest permit fee would be $100. And then it would be 2 cents per square foot over that. For an accessory building, it would be $100 plus 10 cents per square foot after that. What it was, yes, what it was, okay, what it was $25 instead of the 100. And it was $15 instead of the 100. So $25 for a building permit is extremely low. So a commercial would go from 50 to 100 and 35 to 100, plus the 25 per square foot and the 15 per square foot. Subdivisions went up a little bit. Site plan review went from 50 to 150. Solar stayed the same since it just got put in. Docks went from 30 to 50. Work started without a permit went from, no, it stayed the same. It's double permit fee. And a driveway permit from $10 to $20. And I guess that's it. I didn't hear you. That would be an accessory. Yeah, so it would be $100 plus the 10 cents per square foot. Now, this may be not, the best way to do it, but it's our first shot at it. We're looking at KV Cog And they're doing a survey of all the towns around. And so they might be coming up with some figures that will shock us too. Because they're noticing towns that their fees are just too low, really too low. So basically, we're trying to cover the cost of the CEO and stuff like that.
And the KV cog meeting is scheduled for December 4th. They're going to have an open meeting on that. We'll share their results. It'll be KV cog
In Fairfield.
wide.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I just wanted to put them on websites.
Not yet. They would have to be approved and then be put on, yes. Chris?
Did you look at the number of permits that happened last year? And how much the CEO cost last year? To make sure that those increases would cover the cost, if that's what the big raising.
No, what I did look at was the cost of the CEO last year and the amount of permits that came in. And that figure was less than half. So the amount of permits that were coming in was half of what the CEO was getting paid. So it gave us a rough. And so at the end of next year, if that figure isn't close, we can fool around with it. Yep.
Does this, is the planning board fee increased or changed at all with this or no?
No.
I just need to know for billing purposes.
Right there. Anything else?
When we get that KV cog study, are we gonna kick that to either ordinance review to look at ours again, or are we gonna do it for town meeting?
We'll take it
Assuming that data
We'll probably
comes in
take it.
before.
under advisement. If it looks about what we have here, then we'll vote and then put it in our put it on our web.
Okay.
site.
Any other questions? All right, so
We could vote to, I motion that we come out of the public hearing.
So moved.
and a vote. 5-0. Okay, next on the agenda is ADA committee report. And Dan, I know you're planning to meet later this week, I believe, or
Do we have to vote?
You,
on
you
those
have to vote
increases?
to accept
What's
the,
that?
Do we
the
have to vote to
fees.
accept the increases?
Yes.
Next meeting.
well, yeah, we're.
Oh, we have to wait. Yeah. You have to have a second public hearing.
Right.
Well, no real report. We've got 8 members of the committee. It's been tough to find a date that works for everybody. It looks like we'll be meeting on Tuesdays and 5 to 6 here. And we'll do that either every week or every 2 weeks. The first step is to do a survey of town assets, physical assets. What is it that the town owns? What are the property? So Remy's gonna help me with that. I assume it's more than just the 4, the library, the fire hall, the town office and the community center.
I shouldn't need to do the
Transportation.
fire station because it's not public.
Oh,
It's technically not a public building.
see, I didn't know that.
That's not what Jason has told me. That's why
So
people
now
can
we
use
need
the
to do
public
that-
bathroom there. That's what Jason, you might want to speak to that more than I could, I guess. It still needs to be ADA compliant though.
That's
not built a new
Oh, that survey.
Yeah,
Great, thank
I'll
you.
help you pull those.
Let's get Chris's view on that.
Pretty sure the counties for most assets, they didn't do with emergency response.
Right.
That's my understanding. Because it's, somewhere around, it's mobility challenge, you say. You know, you just, it's not appropriate, I think that's in the law.
Dan, did you give a date for the first meeting?
Yes, the 25th.
25th. Okay. Of this month.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Next up is social media policies. This is a ongoing discussion. And Tyler, do you want to?
Yeah, so 2 meetings ago, I brought up the point that the town is already using social media without a policy. Since then, I've met with all of those department heads and not one of them has voiced any opposition to social media. In fact, they have all universally encouraged the town to adopt one for the town office and the select board.
Tyler, I want to make sure that we're on the same track, at least for timeline. Are you moving to reconsider this vote?
Yes,
Well, we follow Robert's Rules of Order, correct? And Robert's Rules of Order says that motion to reconsider can only be made by someone that voted on the majority side of the last vote. So unless, and there could be circumstances, perhaps Peggy, Carl, or I are interested in rehearing it, but the idea behind that Rules of Order is that you just can't keep voting over and over.
then I'll untable my previous motion to ask that the fire department, community center, and library cease using their social media because we don't have a policy.
Okay, so if that's different, is that a different
It's a,
question?
we tabled it. Because like you voted down the policy.
Right.
So the logical conclusion of voting the policy down was that the fire department, community center, and library need to discontinue use of their social media.
Well, my recollection, I could be wrong, was that we were gonna deal with those as separate items. We were gonna gather information to find out whether or not there were problems with the library, for example, the library social media. I don't know, what do you all think?
I only remember tabling that discussion. I think that we do need to have a policy if those organizations are going to continue using it.
Okay, I think that's fine, if it's a separate discussion. Separate from voting.
I mean,
To not have.
We voted to block the policies. We never voted on a town Facebook page. The motion I made that was voted down 3-2 was to adopt both policies as read. That was the vote that was taken a month ago.
What you're suggesting now is unless we revisit this, those entities can't have their votes.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I'll make a motion to reconsider. It's gotta be from Bob, Peggy, or me, and I'll do it. I'll make a motion to reconsider. Now we have to vote on it. The second.
Okay, so a vote on the motion to reconsider? Is there a second?
To reconsider the social media policy,
Yeah, to back
So-
up, try it again.
so that they can continue to use it, the library.
No, you have to vote to reconsider so we can have a discussion about the policy again.
Okay, let's vote to reconsider then.
So is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and a vote?
So exactly. Go ahead.
So again,
Okay, so now.
yeah,
All right,
so now I'll go back to where I was at and what I said last meeting. Is that none of the department heads have voiced any complaints to me. They have all universally encouraged us to have an official town page.
and
I've
by
spoken-
department heads, you mean the library.
Library, community center. And fire department.
Fire department.
I've spoken to the school board after they had some negative comments on their social media. And they have indicated they have no desire to pull it back. I've talked to Augusta Public Schools that are going through way more issues than we're having because of a group of belligerent parents. And they said that there's no way in hell they would pull this back because of the positive feedback they've had. I've spoken to over 200 residents in town and they've all spoken in I would say about 10 have spoken in favor of it and they want it. Cause they wanna just be able to, when they're scrolling Facebook, see what's happening in town.
Well, I talked to 211. No, I'm being facetious. It's tough to just throw around those numbers. I've talked to 200 people. I'm sure you talked to a lot of. I don't deny that. But I think it winds up being it can be like a sort of conversation stopper. I've talked to 200 people, stop. So I think, every time we raise this issue, somebody stands up and gives a compelling argument that we shouldn't have social. So, what-
Let me suggest a thing. We've got ethics policy and we've got the social media thing. Why don't we go to a work session separate from a meeting and hash these things out that way?
I mean, I'm not asking for any changes on the policy verbiage. I think it comes down to the motion that I'd make after this to adopt the town Facebook page, but I think either way, we need policy. I think I don't think we have any issues with the actual verbiage of the policy. It's more the logistics of once that policy's in place.
I do like Bob's idea of having a working session. I think there's a number of items that we need to talk about. For example, who's going to actually do the maintenance on the social media site if we set up one for our own, for the town. I'm, as I think stated before, I'm fine with pushing out to Facebook so long as we don't need to get involved with responding to comments. But I think there's a number of issues behind the scenes that we haven't thought through in terms of how much is it going to cost us to have somebody maintain those pages, identify who's going to maintain those pages, things of that sort.
So there's two questions on the table. What do you want to do about the policy? Because social media is already being used without a policy governing how it's going to be used.
Well, I guess I'm seeing that there are two separate
Yeah,
uses of the social media. One is the town's widespread use and the other is these separate organizations.
right. But the way the policy is written, it is just to be, these are the do's and don'ts, regardless of what social media platform it is, regardless of who's using it. It's just if there's social media representing the town.
What I want to do is get into, I want to, I'm not sure that I want to make sure that we are going into this with eyes open, that there might be differences in the way we write a social media policy for the town versus for these other organizations. I don't know if anybody else has a view on that, but that's kind of what I'm wondering.
I'm not sure, because it's confusing, because these library, the fire station, they went ahead and did that. They didn't ask permission from the select board or from the town to do it. They did it under their own entity. So they did it before we even have a policy, correct?
Clearly.
Yeah.
Correct. So we have to create a policy to make their social media pages legal. Is that what I'm hearing? So we
Uh,
should develop a policy. Does it mean
Yes.
that the select board is going to do a town of Mount Vernon one?
I think you're right, Peggy. I'm just not worried about an information outlet for the library. I'm not really concerned about an information outlet for the fire. I'm concerned about a social media page for the town government.
Right.
So that's where I'm coming from. Others can reasonably disagree. That's just where I'm coming. So I do like this idea of a working group, a working session, because it seems complicated. But at the same time, that's just one.
I'd go along with the working group as well. I mean, I don't want to jump into anything, but at the same time, we don't have a policy to cover entities that already have one out there. So what is the liability of letting the library keep it? What is the liability of the fire?
Without the policy, you can run into FOIA issues because it's all FOIA, because they're owned and operated by the town. So there's no archiving, there's First Amendment concerns.
All right, Chris.
It seems to me that the library fire department is making one else that wants to. Should simply be required to come up with a policy. That they need to enable them to accomplish the communication that they want. Then they submit that to the board. And you look to see if there's anything in that that is contrary to a minimum that you folks have. And I think I agree with Dan that they're different. And you may need to have a stricter or different for each one of those. You might be one that for the fire department in the library, let those departments write their own.
I think that's pretty solid. I mean, with some.
I think that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, with some of the information that Tyler has pulled together, which is very good.
It is very
helpful, as sort of a framework for their thinking. What do you think about that?
I'll go back to as he mentioned, there needs to be a minimum guideline. That comes in the form of a policy adopted by us.
Well, I think that Chris is suggesting that the policy be created by these different entities, but that we have the final say in terms of the overall wrap that goes with it. Kona?
I've been listening to this and I'm trying to figure out. Does this supersede a redesign of a website where you wouldn't have any of these issues ever, would not have ever to deal with anything? Because if a website is designed correctly and properly, you can have links out of the website to a variety of different avenues. And you wouldn't have to have these stringent controls and all of these languages that you have to implement. And how enforceable are they going to be in the first place? Why don't we just make a good website that people are going to want to go to because it's easy to use and it's knowledgeable, knowledge-based, and a good foundation to disseminate information to the public? What happened to that idea?
It's
Dan's got,
got a memo that I gave them today. There's, and I didn't bring it up because I was only gonna bring it up if we were gonna move to another discussion, non-social media discussion, which is, so it's come up. 3 suggestions, and I'm offering. One is a new website and an email newsletter, a regular email newsletter. It's actually an organization that's really quite popular throughout New England, mostly Massachusetts and Vermont. It's called the Front Porch Forum. And it's sort of a newsletter for only people in a particular community. They post information, they post goings on around town, birthdays, and it's sort of a small community newspaper. And the other possibility is a engagement platform specifically designed for bigger projects that we might be working. Information related to sort of road construction, or snow removal, bridge construction. So long and short is, if we don't move towards a social media policy, I think we need to think, well, what should we do? I don't think the status quo is acceptable. Because if we want to get more information out, that's one of the goals that Tyler's been talking about. It's an important goal. If we don't do social media, what are we going to do? Open for discussion. And I just laid out 3 quick ideas on this map.
Did you get quotes?
on the new revamp, no, it's just a discussion, it's just a white paper.
Cause that, I
Nothing,
mean,
nothing too detailed.
that's the whole thing with redesigning the website. It's gonna cost money.
It's gonna cost,
It's gonna cost a significant amount of money.
and we need the townspeople's name.
I don't disagree, but we can't, that takes a full budget cycle to implement that, because we have to go to town meeting and make a request.
Find somebody to shop it at, to figure out what you want, to find the framework of financial investment. Chris has all volunteered to help with that, and how can you ignore somebody who has skill in this area, volunteering to help you flesh this situation out? You've got the time, take the time, don't do something knee jerk, because we're still going to be left with a really crappy website.
All right, let's come back to the social media policy and the idea of a working session.
Yeah, I would be for that as long as it's also part of.
Yeah, I think it has, I think it
We
needs
don't
to,
do social media, what are we?
right,
Yeah,
okay. So do we need to make a motion to do that or?
No,
just
you
schedule-
just have to schedule it.
Yeah, let's
Schedule
just
it.
schedule it, okay.
Next Monday.
That
That's a
works.
holiday week.
no. No, I mean, the ADA meeting on Tuesday. so-
Yeah.
Why don't we do it the first Monday in December?
At 6. I could just stay here.
We do that.
What day?
6.
Tuesday,
Tuesday?
25th at 6.
I'm not gonna be here. I'm traveling for the holidays.
Oh, no.
That's not good, not bad.
So, I mean, we have a meeting the first.
Let's, yeah. let's
We could
go
do a 6 o'clock meeting.
I like that.
on the
Start
first.
the meeting earlier.
How about
Have an
that?
hour long,
You think that's enough time?
Okay.
Live from Pine Pond.
Okay.
an hour long working session and then a regular meeting. So they do it school board.
Yeah, I like that.
Is that December 1,
December 1.
6 o'clock,
Yep.
community center?
Yep.
Do you like minutes taken at that?
Okay, so we're done with social
Do you
media
want,
for
do
today.
you want minutes taken at that meeting?
Yeah, because it'd technically be a select board meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the next item on the agenda is payroll and accounts payable dates to submit to treasurer. So these, I'm just gonna do a short preamble here. These dates have already been determined by the select board and are part of a policy. And so it's 5 o'clock on Friday before the payday. And I don't know that I see a reason to change those dates, times, unless there is reason otherwise to do
How,
so.
how are we handling that Saturday? Or does our pay date,
It's
or does our pay, it's Friday?
The other week.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
Friday to
okay.
Friday.
So we have to, you can submit payroll afterwards, after 3 o'clock on Friday. Now that the pay date is back to Wednesday. So you just have to submit it on Friday for us. We talked to payroll management about that.
And
Um,
is payroll management requiring it by 3 o'clock?
No, it was
Okay.
required by 3 o'clock if we were paying on Monday.
Okay, We're
In
not
order
doing
to get it in time, which was changed for whatever reason. But with Wednesday, you do not have to submit it by 3 o'clock. The issue of having a payroll in at a 5 o'clock on Friday is we have to you still want to submit on Friday to guarantee that the checks will be delivered in time and that the direct deposit will go through. The direct deposit's a little bit less of the concern, but for the printing and the mailing of the checks. It it would mean that someone, not necessarily myself, but either myself or Dorcas would have to submit and work on payroll after 5 o'clock on a Friday. If we're gonna require that it be submitted by 5 o'clock on a Friday.
well, I don't think there's a requirement that the payroll is submitted to the payroll management service.
No,
It's just-
it's more if you tell someone that they don't have to have their hours in until 5 o'clock on Friday, if they submit them at 4:59. Or
Right,
we get 5, everyone drops them off then. That would mean that we're working on the weekends to make that happen.
so it can't be done Monday morning? Is that what you're saying?
They won't guarantee that the checks will be shipped and delivered to the address by Wednesday morning, which would be the pay date.
So industry standard almost everywhere else is that it's an even later payday. It's a Thursday, Friday payday.
Correct.
Would that alleviate some of these issues?
Absolutely. You would submit by 5 o'clock on a Friday, you would get paid the following Friday. That's typically, you typically have a 7-day waiting period for your pay. You go,
And my other question is, could that delay the submit date? Cause I know, I'll use my employer. We technically, our cutoff is Friday, but it's reviewed up until Tuesday for changes. So that way there, if there are issues, you can catch it the following week before the checks are cut on Thursday. I would say that, and I would suggest, and we'll give it, so we can get feedback, but I would suggest moving to a Thursday pay date. A Thursday or a Friday pay date, starting at the beginning of the year,
Have them submit their payrolls by,
5 o'clock on Monday. If
Five-
payroll manage could get it, give it 5 o'clock on Monday.
Could they do it by Thursday if we did that? Or should
yeah,
be-
it,
should be
it should,
Friday?
it should still be okay. It's the 3-day period, but the larger thing that you're running into is when you submit at 5 o'clock on whatever day, doesn't matter if it's Friday, Monday, whatever day, you're pushing, you meet, unless we're coming in and working nights, which we can do. But unless someone's coming in and working nights, you're pushing it to the following day. By submitting by 5 o'clock on a Monday, you might as well be saying you're submitting Tuesday morning.
So why don't we keep 5 on Friday
Yeah.
as our,
or we could go to 12.
5 o'clock,
noon.
5 o'clock on Friday is fine. But if you want a Wednesday payday.
no,
No.
we move it to Thursday.
If you move it to Thursday, then we can submit on Monday.
Right, I think,
So
I think
that-
the thing is if the physical pay date is causing processing issues. Give people time to adjust to a new pay date. And
That's
move it,
what, this was advocated for months ago.
yeah,
So I'm just saying that this, moving the pay date later in the week to either Thursday or Friday was advocated for, I think, around 6 months ago. But we kept the Wednesday, which then made a short turnaround and essentially always required weekend work to make it happen. So it's up to you guys. I mean, you know, we have come in on weekends, but it's,
I like Tyler's idea of 5 o'clock on Friday,
Friday.
payday is,
Adjustments in by 8 a.m. on Monday.
payday is Thursday.
Thursday.
I have a question.
Yep.
So my question is this. I was under the impression, and I need clarification or correction, however you want to say it. PMI, payroll processing, Carrie's sitting here. I thought they only needed 48 hours, and then I was told that PMI would have a FedEx to our town office on a Monday. Is that not still true?
it doesn't matter.
No, yeah,
You,
The answer should be coming here, not there.
Okay. Yeah,
It's-
she was telling us, she was answering my question, actually.
it's 48 hours on business days. So if you have to submit at 5 o'clock on a Friday, 48 hours on the business day, we'll get it there by the Wednesday pay date. But because then you have all of Monday and all of Tuesday. So you're correct. It's 48 hours. It's 48 business hours though. Which doesn't include the Saturday, Sunday.
So if we were using Trio, would that be a problem? You would have to check that day, correct?
No, Trio still uses an outside payroll service, actually.
no. but we aren't,
it's internal, but it's a payroll service that isn't direct in. You can we can still cut checks in-house necessarily. It's more, there are a lot of various exceptions and how things are being processed. So the goal is to streamline the process.
conversation with Dorcas, and talk through this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna advocate pushing the payday back. to
Yeah,
Friday, 'cause
I
I
do
think
agree with
that,
I think
Yeah.
that's the reason why, I think it stinks that one payday, it'll be 2 days later, but from then on, it's.
So, I mean, we
every
could-
2 weeks. Give them a month.
I don't
I'll be-
understand the change. I
so
don't understand. It. It's worked all those years. Why now is it difficult? I haven't heard.
It's not difficult. There's no issue. We can still do it. I'm just saying that from the standpoint of if you want it to be guaranteed to be there on the Wednesday, we need to have it submitted first thing Monday morning. Cause that gives the 48 hours to properly receive the checks. And at 5 PM on a Friday, if you need it submitted first thing Monday morning, someone has to work a weekend. If you are requiring the cutoff to be 5 PM on a Friday.
If we printed the checks
If we printed the checks in-house, we can print them,
anytime.
correct? The pay date would still be Wednesday, though. So
but
that requires someone
Yeah.
to come in and print and sign the checks ahead of time.
We don't want people to work on the weekend.
No.
I don't, I mean, most places that you go and work, you submit the time card, or if it's an automatic time card, it's like the night before, so it would even be Thursday night by midnight is the cutoff date. You submit it on Friday, and then you get paid the following Friday. There's always this 7-ish day delay. We don't have to currently change it. It's just the way that it is, someone is always working a weekend. Previously, when Carrie was the treasurer, we were accepting hours and working on payroll up until Sunday night. So someone was always working on the weekend, whether it would have been Carrie back then or myself, or I don't think there was a deputy treasurer
But-
before myself, but someone was always working
but
on the weekend.
The idea of moving this to the payday to Thursday basically takes care of any concerns about when we actually.
Correct. It would, yes, if you move the payday to Thursday, that you could keep,
Yeah,
have the
that-
cutoff on Friday.
that
Someone
operates
comes in on Monday
on the weekend.
morning and submits all the payroll. It gives time for an additional correction, and you have that for more than 48 hours to have everything be processed properly.
Okay,
It would affect only Lee, I think. Right, Lee is the only one that would be affected.
What do you
Okay.
mean?
He's the one that brings his payroll in on Friday afternoon. Lee.
Well, Lee actually,
I
the
thought-
last one that was considered a payroll, there was no actual payroll on it. That was just invoices. But there are several people who email the treasurers. In outside sources, they'll email hours up through Sunday night.
So if we tell him.
So any worker within the town, really. It's not just, there are others.
Okay.
Eric,
So, are you?
No,
One word on the, you get Friday at 5, and you can share the payroll. It's one word or including one section.
We come in on the weekends, Carrie. And sign the warrants. Is that what you're asking?
Technically, yes.
You are right.
so if we did it either way, that means we just approve it on Monday. Cause it's
Correct.
getting processed, instead of it being processed over the weekend, we process payroll on Monday, checks get delivered on Thursday.
Correct.
That, for me, makes the most sense.
I agree.
If, it would also, sorry, if,
Yep, it's got a point.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a reason that most places process payroll on Fridays for that specific reason.
That's right.
Yeah, there are most people process payroll on Fridays for that reason, just for the leeway of Monday holidays. It can still happen, you go in and someone would be working again on a holiday Monday. So
Was lucky this year.
you're correct, Peggy, in saying that this is the way we've always done it.
We have,
Someone has always been working on the weekends.
Yeah, Carrie.
to make that happen. So, I'm not advocating either way. I will respect whatever decision is decided.
Okay. Point being right now that the timesheets are due on Friday at 5.
Yeah.
And any invoices that need to be paid are due then as well. So it stays aligned with our policy that's in place.
Correct.
I mean, my other comment's gonna be, if your time card's late, you might not get paid on time. Like that's a reality.
We have already experienced some very large pushback from people on that. So I don't disagree. I think
If I submit my time card late at the bank, my paycheck is not on time.
this is true, and this is what I mean, where there are also certain people who work for the town who we are having to continually contact to try and get a time card in. And that's mostly out of courtesy. It's not, we're not trying to make sure people don't go, that we don't want people to not be paid. It sucks when you don't get the paycheck you thought you were getting. But, since I have been sitting here in this meeting, I got an email from someone saying, did you get my email and are my hours being processed? And they didn't email back until after 5 o'clock on Friday. And the answer is yes, they were, and this person is getting paid. And I got the email today about hours correction still, so their pay per se isn't complete because they submitted a correction essentially right now while I've been sitting here. So,
Well, that's behavior that we really want to change.
yeah,
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a policy for a reason.
Send a memo out.
I think part of the issue that Dorcas has been experiencing, and I haven't been taking as much of that on because the emails are going directly to her and whatnot, is, this mentality of, well, we've always done it this way with some people, or I've never had a problem before. And when it comes from either the treasurer or the deputy treasurer, in my case, we're getting pushback about it, or I just think it needs to come from you
Yeah,
guys. You
yeah.
have to make it clear to everybody that this is the expectation, this is when it is, and that if you guys say that we're no longer accepting anything after this time, this day, whatever you decide, that's what's gonna, be fairer to us, I think.
Okay.
I hate to say you have to be the bad guys, but in this case.
I'm gonna pull
you
the
do.
policy before let me pull the policy.
Because we're not like I said, not as much myself, but I know Dorcas has been catching a lot of flack with people about when my payroll is being, when I submitted my hours and this and that, and when do you have time to get corrections in, right?
Okay,
So,
duly noted.
I'm pulling it.
I would like to say one thing and speak for people that have approached me about getting their check on a Wednesday. They are doing the service for the town of Mount Vernon, and they're working for the town of Mount Vernon. We owe them a consistent payday. And over the last few months, because of maybe unforeseen circumstances, they have gotten not their check on time. The worst thing to do is have a family come into the town office thinking their check is going to be there. First it was for a Monday for a while, and now it's Wednesday, and it's not there. Now you want to push these loyal employees of the town of Mount Vernon back to a Thursday and a Friday because of a payroll system. I'm not understanding it. And I won't vote to change it from Wednesday. I won't. So,
So I will say, I need to say something about the Wednesday. It was Wednesday forever. And we said it would be Wednesday and the policy was Wednesday. And then somehow I got.
she's looking it up.
I'm pulling it right now.
And then somehow it got moved to Monday. That's what happened.
It was moved to Monday because back in the summer, and I was fairly new, the conversation that was relayed to me was, once we sign the warrants, the towns that have Trio, which are what, 380 some odd municipalities around the state of Maine, the minute their select board council or whatever they're called signs the warrants, the checks can be released. So because we were doing it on a Monday, they were releasing the checks. So if some people were here that were employees, they were handed their checks, or they'd go into the town office. And it seemed to make our loyal employees happy. So moving it back to a Thursday and Friday, I'm telling everyone here tonight, it's not gonna make them happy. And why do we have to move it? I'm still waiting for
So-
an answer.
Employees shall be paid every other Wednesday. If payday falls on a holidays, the employees shall be paid on the following workday. Payment for work shall always be based on the work completed unless a contract has been agreed to for temporary work not to exceed 6 months duration, when a portion of the agreed work is paid in advance.
That's what it was. It was Wednesday. We had a conversation. And then without board action, it got moved to a Monday.
Because of the warrant, because of the trio.
But.
Yeah, but there was-
But it did, you're
it
right.
was a policy that the board had established.
You're correct.
Now, the argument that we were heard during this period was that it's really, really important, and you said it earlier, Peggy, that employees know a consistent payment.
Consistent.
They are paid every 2 weeks on time.
Our employees depend on it.
That's right. Every 2 weeks on time.
That's right.
And I'd be happy to keep it on Wednesday, but I don't like the weekend thing. But if short of the weekend, if they are paid every 2 weeks on Thursday, I'm okay with that.
I think, and the reason I'm advocating for the change is A, it eliminates the weekend work and it's industry consistent. Consistent industry is Thursday, Friday payday. That's what they teach you in business school. It's how the majority of businesses operate, is on a Thursday, Friday payday.
I'm just gonna go out there on a limb and say it will never reduce the weekend thing. Because the treasurer has the right to go in and work on the weekends if that person wants to.
Oh, that, I don't think that's the argument as much.
No,
Um,
it isn't the only thing, but what I'm saying is, if Dan thinks it's gonna shut the town office down and nobody's gonna be in there working, that's not gonna happen.
I think,
One of the things was that we didn't want to have people working on the weekends. And the other point, Peggy, that I want to make is that I want to make sure that the select board has had an opportunity to review the warrant before paychecks are handed out, because
Right.
I know that when it was on Monday, that warrant wasn't signed by every one of us or the
Right.
3 required signatures.
Right.
And that concerned me.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely, I agree with you, Kyle.
And you think they that it goes, the payroll rate, the rate, the rent funds, that should also be the rate check to it, but when you're writing checks, they'll have a different date, they'll have 2 different payables. So that's a matter of direct deposits are going in on that. Those are 2 different payroll dates, and they require 2 different tax disseminations to the IRS and state. And we have 488 hours from that payroll that we have to get into the IRS. So that's one of the reasons that Monday night, the payroll was submitted, the payroll make it Wednesday. And payroll management takes care of the payroll tax. So that'll happen, when we pull the checks and issued in Monday, that means the MLS does have. Anything issued Monday, yeah, that's better to have that. The concept for the payroll tax. So that doesn't, that's just another one, it will be a blind, but
Okay,
Thank you, Carrie.
yep, thank you. Unless anybody has an objection, we'll close out that
I
topic.
I have, I guess one comment that I know that Dorcas would definitely make if she were here. And that would be that I know that she would advocate that more people who work for the town use direct deposit, because a lot of the time, most banks nowadays actually give you your money early. As soon as they see like a pending deposit, they'll front it to you.
Yeah, no,
Especially if it's from
I-
a
I'm-
reputable source. So.
I'm in agreement that it would be great if everybody wanted or used direct deposit, but apparently that is not what
Correct.
everybody wants. So
Oh, yes.
I don't think we can change that.
Well,
Just-
that is up to you guys as well.
Um,
So that it can be within.
Granted, I
town
work for a
policy.
bank, but at my employer, I'm required to use direct.
Yeah, there's a lot of employers that.
But
require
there
it.
might be some people who don't have a bank or something of that sort.
Oh, I
Right.
completely understand.
We just
I,
have to submit
I
documentation.
just,
Yep.
think- I know that that's something that Dorcas would advocate and want on record. So I'm perfectly fine cutting whatever check or doing whatever the select board decides. And that honestly should have been included in the financial policy, looking back on it. So, whatever they want, whatever
That's
this
not-
board want.
Okay,
No, direct deposit's an option, but it's
Yeah.
not a requirement. I
Right.
was using
Discuss.
my employer as an example.
Okay.
okay, let's close out that topic then.
Okay,
Um. So
Unless we move, so
I guess, do we? We just had this big long discussion for 20-ish minutes. Do we want to revisit this discussion next meeting when we have more information, or like what, like, I guess I don't understand why.
I think we should revisit this discussion.
I
Yeah,
would suggest
need to talk
moving
to
it to your
Dorcas.
working session.
Yep,
I think that's a good idea.
That's what I would suggest.
Then we should move that working session a week, so it's in between a meeting, because an hour's not gonna be.
right.
You have another question on the floor?
I'm sorry, Carrie.
that's okay, and this is more general. The biggest thing when we talk about the payroll takes, that's if you finally get our title policy, it's spelled audible sound. And when the pieces that we did have, if the treasurer buying case press something, the select board is not necessarily end up in the acceptance. So that's the biggest thing about this policy. We have that policy, we need to make sure that the select board embraces it and really spend the time the treasurer to enforce it. Otherwise, we might end up getting a lot of bottom.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to Blake Hill Bridge update.
Is this being added to the working session then?
Yeah,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
can we move it to the 8th, so that way it's not on a meeting night?
Yeah,
to the 8th.
there's not enough time in a.
To do it in an hour.
I
What
just
would-
need to know for my schedule too.
Yeah.
'Cause I need to be there.
Monday, the 8th, do we wanna do?
We're
six-
changing it.
Yeah, so that way there it's not at 6 and we run into the meeting. To our regular meeting.
I think that's a good idea because it's gonna cause a lot of discussion. So. So
Okay.
December 8th,
The time was at 6.
I mean, yeah, if we're doing a working session, I can start earlier.
Okay,
That's fine with me.
what time?
It's 6.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, same time.
All right, thank you.
all right. Next item is the Blake Hill Bridge. And we are having an official kickoff meeting with the engineer and the contractor And Bob and I, who are now project managers officially for that project. And at the bridge site on this Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning.
So,
So we're bringing champagne, is that?
I don't know if we go that far, but
so I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume we're not ripping the bridge out this winter, seeing as
we
how.
are.
We are,
They are?
It's starting December 1st or thereabouts.
Okay.
and I just want to say, I want to thank Bob and Carl for taking that 8-hour course in order to be certified to do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Okay, update on the CEO search. At this point, unless Bob, you have something to add, we have one candidate who has submitted an application. But we've also had a number of conversations with KV Cog, who, if you're not aware, has started a CEO program in Somerset County. And KV Cog is willing to work with us as probably their first Kennebec County town to offer CEO services. And the way that would work, I don't have an agreement in hand yet. We need to provide them with some detail about what budget is still remaining from the current year. But the KV Cog model right now is that they will work with whatever our remaining budget is for this year and use that budget for next year as well. At which point so that they have at least a year of data about the number of hours we actually use before they will tell us, and at which point they will tell us what our assessment is, if you will, for the 28 year. So it looks, excuse me, it looks like something that is very compelling. And again, can start as of December 1st. That's not to say that we shouldn't interview the candidate who has applied.
Yeah, I would say interview, and if that goes well, great. If not, KV Cog. I think that's pretty straightforward. And then we have KV Cog as a backup, I would assume, if we run into the same issue we've been in.
Yeah, one of the other advantages of KV Cog is that if, for instance, their CEO left for some reason, they would be on the hook to find a new CEO. But I would advocate that we meet with both the candidate who has applied for the job and with KV Cog and interview them both as if they're potential candidates for this role.
I would like to interview him as well. Yeah, because he has certificates and he's a licensed local plumbing inspector.
Yep.
He has it all. And still keep KV Cog. We are a member.
Yep.
In our back pocket, but this is a very good candidate. So
It does appear
he's
that
got
way.
all the licenses.
You remember if he's the one that's servicing Somerset also? Or is he separate? He's gonna be just Kennebec.
No, he actually lives in Madison,
Okay.
so he'll be servicing us initially, at least. You're talking about the KV Cog
Right.
person.
We have funds available for a deputy CEO. And I would suggest using that to bring on board a deputy.
And we
Have that person trained.
talked with KV Cog about that as an option, and they said they'd be open to doing that.
Okay.
So why don't we invite these two gentlemen to come in this week?
Sounds good.
We do it in an evening, preferably not Thursday.
I'm available anytime to get this going because we need the CEO.
Thursday, because I serving on another board.
Whatever you four decide
I
is
have
fine.
Mandatory confidentiality
Okay, well,
training.
let's reach out to them and see what they can do.
Yeah,
Same way.
Thursday's the only one that I have a night. Transfer station meeting.
Yeah, and I have a RSU 3800.
So not Thursday.
Tomorrow, chance for tomorrow?
Yeah,
We'll try.
we'll reach
Yeah, I
out.
can do tomorrow night.
Do you have Garrett's information?
If I don't, can you forward it?
It's right here.
You just,
You just got it. here.
Oh,
It's
okay.
right
Well,
here.
I was,
He's
didn't
the,
he,
he's the candidate I was
did we,
referring to
did we
there
already interview him?
yes.
Yes.
Okay,
with the licenses.
then I don't,
Yeah, he's the one who turned us down once before.
okay.
So we're doing this when? Tomorrow night? Did you say?
No, we've got to reach out to them and see when they.
To see when he's available. Okay. Let me know.
That's how-
Oh, sorry, Chris.
My observation with them is decades that. When you get a. Into a journal. CEOs, one of the things that you sacrifice is consistency. And it comes back to a similar problem that was discussed with employees who were dated at different times and so on. Someone's suffering from that, and when the permitting becomes inconsistent, and the people that are getting permits, you know, they've got it in the past, all of a sudden they get in the story. And, I work with different colleagues around, not all towns, all over the state. When I found that one of the biggest advantages was consistency. Regardless, they have a whole wide swath of this program. You know, you should consider that in the process.
Yeah, right now in the state of Maine, there's a lack of sufficient CEOs, and apparently they are bouncing from town to town based on the amount of money they can get from the town. So that's the basic situation that we're all faced with. And I think something like KV Cog might be able to address that.
I mean, if there's, with that labor shortage, either way, the town's gonna end up paying more every year for a CEO because
So there's some advantages to,
Yeah.
other advantages to KV Cog in that they are able to do a lot of things online that we didn't do. That's not to say that the CEO wouldn't still sit in the office on a day a week, but they have an online permitting system that they include as part of the fee. And based on what we've heard from them, it really helps to make things go smoothly, and that doesn't require that the CEO go on site every single time or go out to, yeah. I mean, basically,
they're only going out if they have to.
they go out what they have to, they ask for pictures, things like that to help address things.
Plus that person gets benefits.
That person
which we
gets,
would Be giving.
that person
so-
gets benefits, they do get.
No, I don't,
a higher-
I'm not. There is a labor shortage. Market conditions are gonna dictate that. As soon as there is a job that is offering the same, and there's a job that has the same work, but paying more, they're bound to jump. So we're just gonna get caught in
that-
a loop where.
That's the
it's
concern.
happened at the school. It's happened. It's happened in higher ed. It's happening everywhere.
Yep.
So I'm leaning towards being more for KP cog because you can pull the resources a little bit better and kind of push back a little bit on that impulse, but if we hire our own CEO, we need to look at a better online permitting solution, so that way we don't have the kind of mileage that we had that it's not a paper form that we're getting complaints that they're getting spoken to by the CEO because they're missing a document when it
Right,
doesn't ask for that
right.
on the permit.
Right. And a lot of that is, I believe, taken care of with KV Cog's approach and their online permitting system. Okay, so we will go ahead and try to schedule a meeting with them this week, not Thursday. And with that, unless anybody else has something to add to the CEO search item, we'll move on to the community center roof update.
Looks good.
Roof is done.
What my grandfather told me looking out with binoculars, it did its job, so.
All right. Anything else to add on the roof update? Okay, there was a request to add a code of ethics ordinance to the town's set of ordinances. I think that's a reasonable idea. I think that there are some items that I think that Tyler has put together one that's different than a version that was submitted by a resident. I think I'd like to suggest that we have an attorney review these. Perhaps before we adopt it.
Yeah, well, it's gotta go.
So
Uh,
I would basically take what you've suggested.
yeah, and
Tyler,
yeah, I can explain it.
that would be great.
So what I did is I took the policy, Ona submitted it, I scanned it in. And I kind of worked to kind of wordsmith it down so it was more concise. It left room, not so much for interpretation, but there's areas where it can be, it's politics, Republicly speaking and all that. So there's some grace within the policy. And then what I also did is I modified it to apply not only to the select board, but a general code of conduct ethics for all town employees, elected officials and appointed officials, and then volunteers acting on behalf of the town. So that way we don't have three different code of ethics for three different categories of people. It's the same, everybody's held to the same code of ethics standard. And from the policy that was presented last meeting, all of the areas are basically the same. The verbiage is just a lot more concise. And it just kind of outlines brief 1 or 2 sentences for each area. And it does create a couple of changes specifically under enforcement and just kind of outlines a more stable process for that. I do have a couple of copies up here from the language. But it took about 4.5 pages down to about 2 pages. That still kind of covers the same stuff. It's one of them. I think it's that one. Yeah.
That
that
one,
one. But yeah, I think it kind of hits on all of the points that were kind of brought up and the concerns that were raised around not having it. But again, I agree, and it should go before the attorneys because they probably want even more verbiage than I put in. But I tried to make it an approachable policy.
Okay.
That's
thanks.
more of a guideline versus very regimented.
Okay, thanks for doing that. Are there any other topics that anybody wants to bring up?
This actually goes back to payroll. I forgot to bring this up earlier. I had got a couple of complaints because we used to mail paychecks to people and then we all of a sudden stopped doing it without notice. And the concern was raised that for some of these individuals, they don't work in town during the day and they have to go to the town office to collect their paycheck, and with the town office's hours, it's difficult for them to collect their paycheck. And they were just wondering if we could go back to mailing those paychecks.
If we know who they were.
Yeah,
make it easy.
all it would be is just, if you want it mailed, just shoot an email to the town, to the select board. And we can forward it from there. Would be my only ask. Remy's got a question.
So I can speak to that. So there was an issue with the transition of treasurers in the sense of it wasn't communicated very clearly who were people who should get mailed and who shouldn't. And then we're kind of back to that same situation where some people are exceptions and some people aren't, and we have to keep a running list of because it's not only people who are getting paychecks, but it's certain vendors who have specific, who are 1099 or an actual vendor who have specifically stated they want to come pick up their check again. So there, as far as I know, isn't a like a 100% concrete list of who wants what, but it's sorting the checks, figuring out who wants what to go where, mailing some out versus a standard, everyone gets their check mailed, everyone has to come pick it up. So that's kind of where the confusion had happened. We're working on a list.
Well,
That's,
I think the concern is with the paychecks for employees. And if there's some people that want to have their paycheck mailed, then we should try to oblige that.
Yeah. I think it's something.
I think, and I'll just make it public. If you want it mailed, please contact the treasurer by next pay date that you want it mailed, and you guys can accommodate that request. I don't, I said, the concern wasn't that they felt slighted, you're used to getting in the mail, it stopped coming in the mail, and then
yeah,
they go up to the town office, like, oh, it's here.
that's fine. There wasn't really a concrete list of like, here are all of the people you should mail, here are all the people who come pick up. And so during that transition, there was confusion as to some get mailed out, some don't, because some checks don't even have an address on them. So that would obviously be a pickup, but then someone said, I've never picked up a check before, and they also didn't have an address on file, so I don't really know how that was.
Possible? 'Cause you
Yeah.
should have an address on file for
Yeah.
W-2s.
Again, I don't know how that happened, but I got that complaint. So, and I got that complaint last week. And so there was a gap in between where I
right.
was
Well,
there, so.
That seems like something pretty straightforward to address.
Add to your list, they're not getting pay stubs.
That's already been fixed.
Is that gonna go
That's
through, all
fixed.
right?
That was fixed because we're having payroll management
If,
cut the physical checks.
correct, a physical check will always contain a stub. The ones for payroll management, and then anybody can access their pay stub online. All they have to do is give us their email and they get access to it.
Yeah,
So-
we need to come up with a set of directions for how to do that.
Correct.
And
That has also been in the work. Dorcas is working on that and
Yeah.
has, for people who have direct deposit, she has sent notes for the people that she has contact information for right now, has tried to contact them for an email address to get them set up that way, because that, if you if you have your email address, you could just access it whenever you want, even if you lose one, then even if you had a physical check cut for you and you lost the pay stub for whatever reason.
yeah,
you could
I'm
just
sure
pull it.
it's more than just the email address. You need the email address to get started and then you put a password in.
Well, they give us the email, we put the email in, it sends them an invite to.
All right, okay.
Correct. Yeah,
Does Dorcas know that on off weeks, she still has to do checks to inland fisheries, motor vehicles?
I don't think she knew that.
Okay, she
We-
needs to know that.
I did discuss that briefly. I can talk to her about it.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to catch her anyway.
Yep.
Yes. The short story is, I think she knows now. But that had not been clearly communicated before, but we should be caught up now. We cut 5.
Yes. right.
As of today, we
Yep.
should be caught up on that now, so.
I talked with our assessor. In April, instead of doing the quarter review that they normally do, they're gonna do the factoring. So that'll be done this year. We've gotta put out an RFP as soon as possible for a reval. Right now, they're looking at 2 years out for that busy. And anybody else would be. So the factoring should get us through a couple of years anyway.
So-
What that will do is it'll get our homestead exemptions back
Will
up
it-
again.
Increase it,
Yeah.
right?
It may not get us 100%, maybe 80%, but it'll
will
survive
increase it.
2 years anyway.
Okay,
Then can we fund? If we push the RFP out for. The reval, we need to fund it this year.
Yes, we should
We
push
should
that out.
fund it this
spring.
year.
Yes,
And then, so that way there, we're not 2 years down the line. Okay, we're ready to go. We can do the reval. Oh, we have to wait till town meeting
so,
to fund it. It should, we just get it funded.
Yep.
Everybody knows that that's included in your property taxes bill this year is the reval. It's done. And then we need to set a policy to have a rolling account.
Yep.
So that way there, every 10 years, it's just done. And we don't go 15 plus whatever years without a reval.
Yep.
Again. Okay. If that's how we're gonna do it, then I'm all. Let's get a RFP for next meeting. You wanna write it, Bob?
Okay.
Or do you
Any-
want me to write it? I'll write it,
you want to write? Go for it.
if you can send me the last one.
Don't have a last one.
I think Noah had
Let
a
me
question.
look.
Did you still have a question?
Yeah,
They answered it, okay.
What's that?
all right, so there are no more, no other items to bring up? Then we'll,
I move to enter executive session to discuss a personnel matter pursuant to 1 MRSA, section 405, subsection 6, subsection A.
seconds,
Need a 3/4, we need a 3/5 vote.
all right, vote.
I got
Right.
3/5, but
Okay.
they abstain.
Sure.